day casters, and welcome back to Dragoncast Productions. In this chapter, you'll find out why the HTDYD crew is in our realm, and some more members of the Minecast get jealous of my power. Enjoy. Italics mean thinking but are used in the flashbacks as well. Chapter 2, Monstrous Nightmare Oathy. Hiccups Poth. This is Burke. It snows 9 months of the year and hails the other 3, but our pets are what makes this place so special. While other places might have dogs or parrots, we have dragons. It turns out we just needed a little more of this, said my dad. You just pointed to all of me, I replied. Well, most of you. That bit there is my handiwork, with a little hiccup thrown in it. What do you think? Godder asked, pointing to my prosthetic leg. I might make a few adjustments, I said. Everyone started laughing, and Astrid came over. She punched me in the arm. That was for scaring me. Is this always going to happen then? Unexpectedly, she kissed me on the lips. I guess I could get used to it, I said. Godder gave me a red wing to put on Toothless. I smiled as I put it on. Hey Hiccup, let's go see how good that new tail fin is, said Astrid. We got on our dragons and flew into the air. I tried out some moves with my new leg, and found it fairly easy to control Toothless now. Just then, we all went through a tunnel in the mountain, but something really weird happened. We came out of the tunnel and found ourselves falling through the air. Before I crashed into the trees down below, I saw the others, also about to crash. Then, we hit the trees. I got knocked off of Toothless and everything went black. Minecast Chris's Poth. It's gonna be interesting explaining this to our family, commented Alyssa, once we had landed back on the driveway and I had turned back into a human. Well shit, I hadn't thought about that, I said. This is gonna be interesting. We went inside, while the dragons and Vikings were outside playing around and T went home. Hey Mum, we just found something really weird, I said. What is it? Well, come outside, I'll show you. Alyssa and I went outside with Mum. Watch, I said. I jumped off the veranda and landed on the hill in front of it, and turned into a night fury once more. What the crap, said Mum. Me and Alyssa started laughing. Yeah, I can turn into a dragon, and not just any dragon, a night fury from How to Train Your Dragon. We actually met the characters and that's how we found out that Chris was half dragon, said Alyssa. They're actually on the other side of the house right now. Lol, I said. Over the next few days, Mum and my grandparents got used to the fact that I was half dragon, and we showed what technology was to the HTDYD characters, and showed them the movie, How to Train Your Dragon, which they reacted hilariously to.
MR Stars Pop. We headed towards the airport and I couldn't wait to see Chris's reaction when he saw me. Me and my family were taking a trip to Australia. 1. Because we wanted to see what it was like, and 2. I wanted to pay Chris, Alyssa, and T a surprise visit. No one in the group was aware that I was going to AUS, so this was going to be fun. We arrived at the airport, got our tickets, and went to the gate. Once at the gate, I saw 2 people who I did not expect to see there. Star, is that you? Asked Oathy. Hi, was all I could say. Oh god, it's bad enough talking to you on Skype. Now I've got to talk to you in real life? Crap, Saeed Lion. Don't you love me? I asked, sarcastically, as Chris always says, when you get Star and Lion in a Skype call together, it's nothing but arguments. It can be pretty entertaining tough. Lol, just shut up, Star. I sighed and shook my head, chuckling to myself. So you're going to give Chris and Alyssa a surprise visit too? Asked Oathy. Wow, seriously? We're all giving Chris a surprise visit, apparently, Saeed Lion. We all started laughing. We are now landing at Brisbane Airport. Please turn off all mobile devices and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you again for flying with Qantas. I woke up and looked out the window. Wow, I can't believe I'm in Australia now, I said to myself. Seriously, Chris is gonna freak out when he sees us, Saeed Oathy. During the flight, Oathy and Lion had swapped seats with my sisters, and when we weren't sleeping, we were talking and catching up. It's not often you get to meet your group when 2 of them live in a different state to you, and 3 more of them live in a completely different country. So are you girls staying in the Birwa Hotel as well? Yep, cool. Once the plane landed, we went and got our luggage, and went to get the rental cars we had gotten. Ugh, seriously? Holden's? Why couldn't we get a Porsche or something? I said, sarcastically. We packed the car and followed the GPS to Birwa. We didn't bother stopping at Glasshouse Mountains because it was almost night. The Holden was surprisingly comfortable. The next morning, after we had unpacked and settled in, I downloaded a map of where we had to go to my galaxy, and, after having breakfast with Lion and Oathy, suggested that we see how Chris and Alyssa get around. They agreed. I got some money from my mom, and we headed across the road to the train station. Next one is a train at 11:30 a.m. I looked at my galaxy. It's 11:28 a.m. right now, so just in time. We got tickets and the train finally arrived at 11:32 a.m. We got on. The next station is Glasshouse Mountains. Saeed, an automated voice. Then the driver said, Glasshouse Mountains, platform on the left. We got up and pressed the button to open the door once we stopped. Well, the train was late, but apart from that it wasn't so bad, I said. I pulled out my Galaxy again and brought up the map. Well, we gotta go to the other side of the railway first, and we followed the directions the rest of the way. Here we are, Saeed lion as we stood out the front of Chris and Alyssa's house. We climbed over the chicken wire that was where the front gate should be. I guess the house wasn't finished. Oathy knocked on the door. Chris's grandma opened it. Hi, are Chris and Alyssa home? I asked. No, but they shouldn't be too long. I heard the back door open and Chris and Alyssa laughing. There they are right now. Chris, Alyssa, some of your friends. I watched, grinning as Chris came over and froze when he saw us. Hey dude, I said, still grinning. Hi, I didn't know you guys were coming to Australia. Saeed, Chris, yeah, we wanted to give you a surprise visit. Saeed lion, come and guess. Oi, look who's here. Lol. Alyssa came back out from the back of the house. Hey guys, she said, just as surprised as Chris. We followed Chris to where his office was in. All our jaws hit the floor. Lionka 120's pov. When we saw Chris's setup we all froze, our jaws hitting the floor pretty much. Okay, Lion, you have seen it before. Why are you so amazed? Saeed, Chris, trying not to burst into laughter. Alyssa was at the back of the room, trying to hide a smile. Dude, this is fucking awesome. Saeed star. I had to agree with him there. The PC itself was huge. There were cords going everywhere. A giant picture of a B-52 drooping over him. The racing cockpit looked amazing. 322 inches monitors, and a freaking racing wheel, with H-shifter joystick, accelerator brake and clutch pedals, and he even had a seat belt. This is a lot more insane in real life. I answered Chris's earlier question. Before I show you some games, let me show you something even cooler than the computer setup, he said. How can anything be cooler than your setup? Asked Star. I could see he and Oathy were both confused and I was too. Come outside. Who else here is a dragon on the Chinese horoscope? A weird question. Me, Star and Oathy said at the same time. Well, let's see if you can do this, he said. But what we saw next, I don't think any of us saw coming. What the fuck, yelled Star, as Chris changed into a dragon. Lol, I'm half dragon. Just then, 5 more dragons came swooping down out of the sky. One of them had 2 heads. Say hello to my new friends. Saeed, Chris in the same sort of way as that say hello to my little friend thing. This is Toothless, he said, going over to a dragon that looked just like him. Toothless? Wait a second. They all look like they're from How to Train Your Dragon. He is a Night Fury, just like me. Over here is Stormfly. She is a deadly natter. Here is Meatlug. He's a Gronkle. Then you have Hookfang. He's a monstrous nightmare. And Barf and Belch. They are a hideous Zippleback. You're a Night Fury, asked Oathy. Yeah, awesome, Chris roared, and suddenly, Oathy fell over, trying to scream but unable to. Sarah, I yelled, might want to back up. Lion, Saeed, Alyssa. I watched in horror as my sister grew wings, then a tail, then orange-red scales, then her head looked like hook fangs. She's turning into a monstrous nightmare. Saeed, Chris, a hint of sarcasm in his voice. Oathy soon stopped moving around and started breathing heavily. She opened her eyes and said, what just happened? Exactly what happened to me, except you're a monstrous nightmare. Saeed, Chris, thanks Toothel. Wait, did he just talk? I didn't hear anything, so I had no idea what she was talking about. Yeah, he did. Saeed, Chris, wait, me and Elle are dragons too, so why aren't we turning into dragons? And we can't even understand them. Saeed Star, well, Star Wars, obviously it only works with some people, replied Chris. I wonder if I can turn into a snake, I asked, curiously. Maybe. I don't think it would be very pleasant if you got bit by a snake and found out you couldn't though. Saeed, Alyssa. True, I replied. Hey, guys, want to go for a fly? Asked Chris. Please, I yelled, turning into a 5-year-old. Lol. By the way, Oathy, take a test flight first to get the hang of it. Oathy nodded and jumped up into the air, and flew around a little, then landed. That was so epic, she said. Lol, Lion, hop on. Saeed, Chris, walking over to me. I got up on his back and saw Star getting on Oathy's back. Hold on tight, guys. Saeed, Alyssa. I held onto Chris's ear flaps and saw Star holding onto Oathy's horns. Suddenly, Chris shot up into the air really fast, and Oathy followed as best as she could, but Chris was way too fast for her. We flew over a really big mountain that looked kinda like a silverback gorilla. Chris said it was called MT Dragoncast, and swooped down next to a train, dodging trees all over the place. We shot back up into the air and Oathy managed to catch up. How do you like being a dragon? Oathy asked Chris. It's amazing. I wish I was as agile as you though. That looked awesome when you were weaving through the trees just then, replied Oathy. I hope this isn't a dream. Saeed Star. Chris and Oathy shared and looked for a second, and Oathy flew up a little, and then caused Star to fall. Chris shot around and managed to catch Star right before he hit the ground. Shit guys, don't do that again. Saeed Star. I just started laughing and so did Chris and Oathy. Chris flew up a little and dropped Star again, but this time, Oathy was under us and Star just landed on her back again. Fuck you guys, I heard him say. Chris started laughing again and we headed back to the house. Once back at the house, we saw the Vikings who owned the dragons Chris had introduced us to earlier. After some more introductions, and after Chris and Oathy had turned back into humans, we went back inside and had some fun on Chris's computer. Oathy's pop. We should probably be heading back. We are still settling into the hotel so, yes Saeed Lion. I nodded. Hey, I know an easier way than getting the train. Saeed Chris. How I think I get what you're saying. I said, 2 of us can turn into dragons, so we can go on dragon back. Saeed Chris. Confirming what I thought he meant. Sounds good to me. Saeed Star. We went outside and Chris and I changed into dragons. Hop on. This time, Lion got on me and Star got on Chris, and we took off. And there goes Chris, being dangerous again. Saeed Lion. I looked down and, sure enough, Chris was dodging around trees and poles and trains and anything else he came across. How about we see just how agile you are? Continued Lion. You sure? Yeah, let's go. I swooped down and almost hit some trees. Big turn just in time. Soon enough, I was also weaving around every obstacle I could find. We soon got back the Birwa and landed outside the hotel pub. Well, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow, asked Chris. Yeah, sure, replied Lion. We said goodbye. Chris flew back to Glass House. I changed back to a human, and we went in.
Hope you enjoyed that chapter. Sorry about having such a short POV for Oathy. We'll probably start with her POV next chapter, just to make it a bit longer. Next chap will probably be up tomorrow. Minecast Chris. But yes, the reason the second part with the American English on that was so bad quality is because it didn't download properly, and also for some reason none of the things seem to be able to pronounce Tibragargan right. Like Tibragargan, what the hell? Anyway, see ya.